This is Hans Vargas, and I am starting these conversations with people I find very interesting. And today, I would like to introduce you to Lior, somebody who I met a while ago. Actually, it's back in June 2021. He is the founder and CEO of Grip Security. And maybe if I'm able to summarize this, Grip Security focuses on SaaS applications security, specialized in helping discover, evaluate, and mitigate both the identity and misconfiguration of SaaS applications. But Lior is here to maybe clarify if I state that correctly. Is that a fair summary, Lior? Why don't
Yeah,
you
that's
tell us more about what Grip Security is?
I can't believe it's been 4 years now almost since
June
you.
2021.
Wow.
Yes, I
So,
think you guys were just starting.
yeah, we founded the company in February of 2021, 4 years ago.
Okay.
So back in June, I remember June because it's when we released our first dashboard. Before that, we used to send Excel sheets with findings to our customers. There was no visuals to it. So
It's been fun to see the how your product, your solution has been progressing. I've been seeing some of the funding you guys received, some of the news you share in LinkedIn. We've met a few other times in some networking events. So here I am, very excited for you and just trying to continue learning. One of my main objectives with this conversation is to let others know about cool stuff like Grip Security.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And for everyone, Leo, I'm the CEO at Grip. I'm based here in the US, and it's a pleasure to be here today.
Great. So what if we get started talking about why do you focus on SaaS? Is I know that SaaS is a kind of a headache for IT and cyber. So what are you offering? What is Grip Security about?
Yeah, it's a good question. So we focus on SaaS because it's a headache. And the reason SaaS is a headache are the reasons what we're doing is interesting because we live in a world today where it's literally impossible to buy software that's not SaaS. No one sells that anymore. So if historically companies had a choice whether they want to adopt SaaS, don't want to adopt SaaS, today with the barrier of adoption for applications being a sign-up form, those apps coming to the business at a pace that we've never seen before. Which means employees can bring their own solutions at anything from AI applications that were spoken a lot about over the last year to your traditional SaaS applications, those come into the business without the controls we used to have. Even when we bring them in officially, per se, everyone knows, everyone signs off of it. Those applications have challenges that we didn't used to have before. As an example, they're accessible from anywhere. They're accessible on the internet and everyone can access them. The management of those applications is being done locally within the business unit. So it's not that far to assume that Marketo, it's a marketing app, is managed by someone in marketing, and GitHub or Circle CI is managed by someone in DevOps or development. The legal apps are managed by the lawyers, and finance app are managed by the CPAs, but FP&As. But what's common to all of the people I just mentioned is that they don't know security. And if they don't know security and they manage the application, then there's a gap between the application management that again is exposed to everyone on the internet to what the app is. That results in misconfigurations, in dormant accounts, in bad password hygienes, in governance challenges, onboarding challenges. All of those are creating a mess, and they're scaling at a pace that's um, impossible to deal with manually. This is
All
where
right.
Grip comes in, and this is what we solve.
So this seems to be a good problem to solve. Um, my take is SaaS, like you mentioned, there everything is SaaS now. Everybody's moving to the cloud, but that also implies that this is not going to slow down. So it's going to be perhaps from a practitioner perspective, I'm going to start continue seeing more and more SaaS, and some of those SaaS are I have visibility over because it might be large enough, and some of them might be small enough that nobody even knows that they're there.
Yeah. The implication of size, and size could be looked at as the size of the company. Salesforce is a very big company, compared to beautiful AI, which is a very small one. Um, and the second now way to look at size is size within the organization. I have 10,000 people using Salesforce, so maybe we're paying enough money for it that everyone knows about it, compared to an app that someone's expensing on the corporate credit card for $3,000 a year.
Right.
The assumption that you see things because they're big is correct, but there's usually more layers to it that are not entirely true. For example, Salesforce, one of the things we tend to see is when Salesforce come in as an approved vendors, in most organizations, they tend to have multiple instances of Salesforce. Because no one asks questions when you send finance an invoice from Salesforce for $30,000. But if you acquire the company and they brought in their Salesforce instance, if one of the teams need their own CRM or they had a problem with a big Salesforce and they buy a small instance of the app, you don't necessarily see that. And then what we usually find is that companies have one big managed environment of those big apps, and I'll say 4 to largest number I've seen 64 unmanaged environment of the app. And it's true that most of the sensitive data is in the big one, but Salesforce can only be used for specific types of data, and all of them are sensitive.
You're addressing the fact that our companies grow by acquisition, and sometimes
Yeah.
we don't really integrate very well, so we maintain multiple things of the same.
Mm-hmm.
What about visibility over SaaS applications? I was checking your website, and you have made a good point in terms of, I guess what we just discussed, known and managed. They're big enough. We might acknowledge that we have several instances of that. Known but unmanaged. And the scary part, I don't know if you have any ideas of the percentages, but those who are unknown and unmanaged, like you mentioned, somebody with a credit card, a corporate credit card, went and got it was a trial and they liked it and they just keep paying for it, and we're connected to.
Yeah. Those exist. I think shadow SaaS is a huge problem, but it's a byproduct of how we consume applications. And obviously, Grip, the first thing we do when we come into a customer environment, when we try to prove ourselves in a POV, is to find all of the things that are in the environment, the ones that are known and managed, known and unmanaged, and unknown and unmanaged. The reason I'm taking a step back from focusing on shadow IT, shadow SaaS, is because shadow SaaS is a continuous problem. Even when you find everything that's in the environment, you haven't solved the problem yet. Because one, known and managed applications have problems. Known and unmanaged applications seems to be the most problematic, because even though you know about them, they still have misconfigurations, dormant accounts, onboarding problems, they change their policies. And being known means they're semi-approved, semi-official, but unmanaged means that, as an example, when someone leaves the business because it's an unmanaged application, they retain access to it. We've seen Disney breach twice in 4 months with the same problem. Ex-employee leaves the business, logs back into a known unmanaged application, and steal data of the employees. It happens to Tesla, happened to Block. And then shadow SaaS is a continuous problem, is because even if you know what you have, if you wait 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, you'll have a new shadow SaaS problem. The pace in which SaaS is changing is just insane.
So how do you do this? How do you help organizations discover SaaS applications? How do you help them evaluate?
Yeah.
And how do you help mitigate? Walk me through the process, and someone who watches this video can get an idea how you guys are solving that problem.
Yeah, that's perfect. So Grip is a SaaS identity risk management solution. We help companies build automated governance and security for their SaaS applications, powered by visibility and automation. So you asked specifically for visibility. We were the first company in this market. Now we have a few copycats going around but the first company to uh, detect applications and users with no proxies, no agents, a 10-minute deployment that provides extreme accuracy and visibility. And what we did that was special in that sense is that we understood there's one kind of ubiquitous connection between SaaS applications and users. And this connection is email. When people sign up, they get a welcome email, password reset, a billing notification, a user verification, all of those, I would say, robot-generated touch points between users and apps. And we understood that it's kind of an identity-centric connection. If we know a user is receiving, I'll say, connection touch points from a SaaS, we know that they're using the app. We know a lot of other things. We know who's the admin. We know kind of what they're doing there. We know a lot of interesting elements of the connection with the application. But then specifically, this allows us to, less than 10 minutes, to instantly understand what's being used within the business. And this kind of visibility is what's powered all of the automation engines, because when you build a good SaaS security program, a good program can only scale if it has the visibility there to the users, to the apps, to the context. Without that, you just cannot take action or set a policy in a good way.
So what about if I sign up for a SaaS application 3 years ago and I logged in with my credentials, right? But
Yeah.
I'm not getting emails from them anymore. And you come in, how do you discover I have this existing application? I'm
Yeah.
not receiving emails from them because we haven't reset my password. How do you find them?
Yeah. So we do, but I would say just before that, there's not a single other solution in the market that can do not only our visibility but backgoing visibility.
Okay.
Traditionally, we were detecting applications using a CASB or something of sorts. Sits on your network on your device and monitors traffic.
Okay.
And
Because you see me
obviously,
connecting to it.
yeah, well, it has a variety of limitations. CASB haven't really worked, but CASB obviously cannot go forward. Browser monitoring cannot go forward. Um, Email, on the other end, is almost the only element that can go back in the past. When we do a POC, 3 years is kind of a lot, but our default is that you're looking 2 years back. We can look 10
Okay.
if we want to.
2 years.
Sometimes you just find things that are too old, it create noise. But we can go back as much as we want to on deployment and instantly populate who's using what. You don't need to wait. I would say for most SaaS, especially ones where people are active, um, they tend to receive more touch points than just
Okay.
a welcome email. There's a lot of interactions that are happening.
All right. So you would need an integration with Exchange.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps if that is let's say that is my
Exactly.
email platform,
Microsoft, Exchange,
Google Workplace.
Google Workplace.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
What about the evaluation of that app? So let's say you have a good use, did a discovery and you give me a whole list of applications that I may know or may didn't know. How do you evaluate
Yeah.
how I guess the security that I have with that or a potential risk that I could see with an
Yeah.
application?
So visibility is step one because it's what's powering a good program. But a good program allows you context, automation, and resolution to the problems that we see, and better security at the end. So after doing visibility, we want to we want to help our customers build a SaaS security program, which
Okay.
means with our context, we help them prioritize what matters and what not, what's important and what's not, what's secured and what's not. And that's from a few different facets. The governance element, is your app connected to all of your security controls like IGA, TPRM, MFA, and others? Is your app managed with a good identity hygiene? We look at user credentials. Are they using breach credentials, weak credentials, duplicative credentials? We're also looking at whether you have SSO implemented the right way, who the admins
Okay.
are, how they're looking at the app. And the last thing is we look at misconfigurations or proper configurations of the app, depending on if you look at the good and the bad. And,
How do you
and
do that? How can you find out a misconfiguration of an app, a SaaS
we,
application?
we integrate directly to the application.
Okay.
So we found the admin, we automate an onboarding for SSPM, SaaS Security Posture Management component into the app. And then we help you kind of maintain and manage the misconfigurations continuously because those can change as well. I'm sure everyone who's listening to this had an admin that had a problem logging in, so we disabled MFA for everyone.
How can you I imagine as a small company, maybe you can do this. You can identify maybe the administrator is one or two people, but
Mm-hmm.
for a medium-sized, large company that has tons of SaaS applications, can you, is it doable?
Yeah,
Can you help an organization say we're going to identify those admins and be able to do this?
yeah. Grip covers today 50 million SaaS accounts. That's
Wow.
a huge number. In June, the number was less than 10,000 when we originally met. So
Wow. Congrats, man.
yeah,
Good
thank
stuff.
you.
That's awesome.
So we've seen environments of any type, old companies, new companies, small companies, big companies. The beauty of automation is that once it's work, if we know how do we detect one admin automatically, then we can find all of them.
Great. What would you say Grip Security's value proposition is?
Mm-hmm. So we help companies build an automated governance program for a SaaS app. That's the goal. That's what we do. Um, because SaaS is a new problem. It's a new old problem. So
Right.
it used to be a problem for a long time, but now it getting to this boiling point where you cannot ignore it anymore. It's the operation system of the business. And if in the past you could say just block everything, I'm not going to use SaaS. Today that's not the case anymore. Um, if SaaS is new and companies need to build a SaaS security program, the average CISO did it 0 to 1 times. The average security team has never built a SaaS security program that fits the modern age. They've built a hunt and block kind of program for SaaS, but this is not a SaaS security program because you cannot hunt and block anymore. Um, there's only one company that has built hundreds of SaaS security programs for organizations, and it's Grip, our customer success team. So using our kind of automated governance, our goal is to help you build your SaaS security program. This is what we're here for.
You mentioned in the past you focus on identity.
Mm-hmm.
What type of, I guess my point is, you are a relatively new player on the security ecosystem, you know, February 2024? No, 2021, right?
2021, yeah.
So in terms of, there are security companies that have been in the market for many, many years. So you're new, you're doing something unique. But I guess what I'm trying to say is, do you play along with other security solutions? What level of integration you have accomplished so far? And I think
Yeah.
that's something I would like you to expand on, maybe to show us at some point, because that means that you are recognized by other vendors. You are leveraging and integrating with technologies that we are using currently. So that could be interesting for people who are listening. Hey,
Yeah.
that's interesting. I can leverage this platform this way.
It's one of the things that differentiate us. It's one of the reasons we're fit for the enterprise is because we want to build a platform for SaaS security. Building a platform takes time, but one of the ways to get there is to be heavily integrated with the ecosystem. We have a strategic partnership with SailPoint, with Security Scorecard, kind of our two largest partners in the market today. We integrate with over 40 security tools, but I want to mention those first because there's a lot of tools that benefit from having context into what matters in SaaS. We make your IGA program better, your TPRM program better, your SSO program better. And namely, we integrate with Okta, with Ping, with Jump Cloud, Duo. I'm forgetting a few: Azure AD, Google SSO, and probably 3 or 4 more. So we make your SSO program better. We integrate with your CASB, Microsoft Zscaler, Netscope, Cisco, Palo.
Wow.
Integrate with
Yeah.
your
I
EDR.
think you're naming everybody that is relevant in the
Yeah,
enterprise game.
we're a ServiceNow store partner for your CMDB. So we can continue going on and on and on, but it's been a tremendous effort from our side to say it this way, push our users out of our dashboard. We don't want you to have a new dashboard you need to log in every day. We want to make all of the other ones better if this is what you need. If you already have a CMDB, you should review your apps in your CMDB. We'll send the data there. If you need context in your SIM for misconfiguration alerts, we'll send the data there so you can see it there. We want to be highly integratable, and it's a core part of our strategy.
Yeah, that's great to know. However, I know you have a dashboard, and I at least I've seen it before. And would you like to show your product a little bit? I know we cannot go in a lot of detail, but perhaps you can show us something that practitioners like me or others are interested in hearing more about it. And you can walk us through, a few features. Let's put it this way. So
Yeah, I'd love to show it, and let me know if you see my screen.
I can see it. Yes.
Perfect. So I'm happy to take everyone through a private tour of the Grid dashboard. Just send me a LinkedIn message or an email. But what we do to help our customers is help gain context to what's being used in the organization. Yeah, the users, the tenants, for example, Shadow AWS tenants or Snowflake tenants or other cloud tenants, the events that occur within the business, and obviously we're highly reportable, so you can use the data anywhere you want. So you gain context and then help take action, automate a policy for governance in the organization, integrate, as we just mentioned, security scorecard, SailPoint, ServiceNow, this is Zscaler in this example, and enhance those capabilities with SSPM, posture management, and user security extension to make sure that your users are safely using apps, not only that the apps are safe.
Before you take me to the integrations, which is something that I start asking, what does like an automated policy look like? If you have discovered applications, the SaaS applications, what is the policy? Give me an example of policy that in the automate perspective.
I'll give you an example for something people care about, something like the AI risk of applications in the organization.
Okay, great. Great example.
We went to an AI security dashboard. With companies building their AI council that needs to approve AI use cases within the business, those are usually manual today. They're manual because someone needs to manually bring those applications into context, and it's impossible to monitor them. So an example automation would be in the policy editor of Grep. For every AI application that's new to the business, or maybe another condition, if an AI app grew over 20 users, then automatically create a ticket to the AI council. Or you can do something more complex. Automatically block it on the network, open a ticket to the AI council, send a message to all of the users that the app is blocked because it's being reviewed, and it's going to be unblocked when it's not reviewed. And then when the ticket is over, automatically unblock it and notify everyone. So this kind of complex workflows that we're trying to build allow you to kind of take a process that used to be heavily manual within the business and turn it into something that's easily consumable. You can add another layer. The AI council needs context. Why are you using the app? What are you using it for? So we can start gathering this context automatically for them so that when they get to the council meeting to approve the app, they don't need to spend a few days gathering information from all of the people. They can automatically get the context from Grip.
Did you get this, some in IT or cyber, or even the business who owns the application, visibility over how often their application is being used?
Oh yeah, of course.
Interesting.
Yeah, do it in a few ways. The answer is yes.
What about integration? Let's talk about integrations then. You mentioned a few big hitters, but what's your menu of integrations?
Just so everyone would see, I wasn't joking. There's there's a bunch of things here. It's never ending. But maybe we take one I like a lot, which is a security scorecard, or a TPRM partner for integration management. Our
Okay.
customers, as many other apps, need to monitor the third-party vendors, and today they onboard them manually into the system. Not only that they onboard them manually, if you don't have the right visibility, then they cannot gain the kind of the full context of what needs to be monitored. So we do a few things for them. One, we give them context. We prioritize which apps should be monitored first based on a variety of parameters that they should care about. Whether the app was breached, whether there's a high risk within the application. Yeah, maybe we can edit this out. But so guys, starting about security scorecard again, we help our customers understand the context into how the PPRM program should run, what applications should be monitored first, based on different categories, and then we help them to automatically define what should be monitored. I know I already gave an AI example, but it's a big seller in that context. But because all of those AI companies are like one-year-old businesses, they lack some of the security infrastructure that we need in order to partner with them. Most AI companies are like 30 people companies with very little context into what they're doing. And companies want to be able to automatically monitor them in their TPRM, make sure they're all right, make sure they don't have a bad security score that defies their policy. With a single click of a button, auto sync right here, every time I'm going to have a new AI application, it's going to be monitored in my TPRM. A completely different example.
Okay. And do you offer that as a built-in part of your solution, or you have to be a customer of another application that gives you that context?
Yeah, well, in this context, you have to be a customer of Security Scorecard.
Okay.
Or Zscaler, if you want to block things, you use Zscaler. But we integrate with so many apps that there's going to be a lot of things for you to kind of enhance.
So you basically, what you're saying is you're extending the value that I might already have in different, I already a customer of this, I already have some, I'm basically you're connecting some of those and you're correlating some of the, I guess, the value added from others. Is that what you're saying? Okay. Yes. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, there's a lot to show. I'm excited for what we're building, and obviously we're going big.
This is not meant to be a deep dive, but it was just a quick understanding of what group security is about. I think that many people can find it interesting. So I guess going back to those who are watching, if you're in the market to understand more your SaaS and you want to get a grip on SaaS security, you need to contact Lior. I think he will be happy to share what he can do for you, and just tell him that I send you. He's going to take care of you.
Oh, thank you, Hans. I will. And everyone feel free to send me a LinkedIn message, send me an email, go to our website. There's a form there. Just add in the comments. Hans, send me, and I'll pick up the meeting myself. So it's been a pleasure seeing you, Hans. Thank you so much for the time today.
Lior, once again, it's been a while since we've seen it face to face, but I thought I keep hearing good things about you, and I'm very happy for you and your team. This shows that you put a lot of effort in, and you're trying to solve a very interesting problem. So, best to you, and hopefully we catch up again.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
All right, goodbye.
Again, thank you, everyone.